I'd like to welcome to the show today. I have Joel from the band AVIANA. Welcome, Joel.
Thank you so much, man.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great. It's Monday, so I'm just trying to get like all the first day of the week inside away. So
Yeah,
I like actually got through this day, which is really fucking nice because
good.
we're closer to Friday and weekend.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's good. It's yeah, it's weird. It's like obviously with everyone, like days are just kind of molding into one thing. And
Yeah.
luckily I've got a family inside and they have school and stuff, so I'm able to structure days and know what day of the week it is for that sort of thing. So it's quite fortunate on that front. But yeah, after a while I try and remember certain things and I can never tell you what day of the week it is. So it's it's crazy.
Yeah, it's the same for me, especially
Yeah.
like with the pandemic.
How has it been with you guys over there in Sweden? Is it Sweden, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we've actually been taking like a different route.
Yeah.
From like anybody else, but we didn't have like these harsh restrictions or anything like that.
Mm.
So we kept like bars open. Like we closed, like we never did like any shows. They told us to like we couldn't be more than like I think it was 800 at a venue at first, and then a week later it was like 300, and then they lowered it again to like 150.
Yeah.
So shows was a no-go, which really bummed us out. But like besides that, we pretty much can do like our everyday stuff
Yeah.
like normal.
Yeah. It's been
Yeah. I
it's
think
been
they're gonna close down bars, but
yeah. No, it's been different here. We're getting an announcement today at some point regarding steps to reopen everything. But we're in full lockdown here at the moment, and it's a pain in the ass. I mean, obviously, all my musician friends and stuff, obviously that's hit them. I usually DJ clubs and stuff, and that
cool.
hasn't happened for about a year now. So it's just kind of like I'm chomping at the bit to get back to it, but I want to take it as slowly as possible so we can properly get back to it. Because apparently there is a date now when they plan to open nightclubs, which will be interesting to see if we can get it there. But yeah, at some point today, there's some announcement, I think, in a couple of hours. So we'll see what that does. And hopefully that will be, a pathway out of this somehow. But no, I've spoken to, was it Snowy Shore at some point last year as well. And he's in Gothenburg, I think.
Yeah.
Around that area. And he was saying like, he was sort of reiterating like how they kept like changing stuff and like they were still doing shows, but then it wasn't, how different it was to the rest of Europe and everything. And it's just seeing that sort of like that side of things, it's it's weird considering how we have handled it here in the UK. It's been awful.
Yeah, I've actually been speaking to a lot of people from the UK, and they're like, "This is shit. Like, you guys could have done it so much better." But we say the same thing in Sweden as well.
Yeah,
like we should have done like a lockdown the first months, like everyone else did. But we decided to keep it open, and like because that's a fun thing. Like with that they like us in Sweden started like changing stuff because you're actually allowed to play a show at a venue when it's like up to 50 people, I think.
mm-hmm.
But you're not allowed to attend that show if you're attending for the artists. You're allowed to go there if there's like a restaurant and you go there to eat and drink and there is an artist playing.
Yes.
So they have like these super weird rules, and like I don't know what the fuck they're thinking about.
Yeah.
They're doing it in such a weird way.
Yeah, it was kind of like what we had here for a little bit, where it was like you go to a pub, but you had to eat food while you were there.
Yeah,
like that, and it's like okay, and then yeah, I don't know. It's all. Hopefully, there is a route out of this at some point soon. It looks like they've kind of planned a way, but it depends on everybody to kind of get it done. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, our government is actually like getting ready to do lockdown.
Yeah,
it's like it's too fucking late, man. Like
yeah,
but yeah, it's really fucking stupid.
Yeah. It is totally fucking stupid. But anyway, we're here to talk about your music today.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Now I'm really loving the new track, Retaliation. It's what you've just released. And I don't go too far back with you guys. I remember hearing Epicenter and loving it, like that kind of whole genty metalcore sort of side of things. And what was my track on that one? I really like is Celosia. Is that how it was pronounced?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really dig that track. It was very different from the others, but it was yeah, no, it's a great track off that one. But yeah, what I want to get, if you don't mind, just to sort of like set the sort of story, is like just an origin story of Aviana, and kind of like where you guys like came from and all that kind of stuff.
So like the first, like I'm not a original member to start off with.
Yeah.
The first vocalist with the rest of the guys was Marcus Veek, who's in Inman Animate now.
Yep.
So they let's say like the guitarist, the drummer, like all the other like instrumental players founded the band like back in 2014. Had Veek join and released Polarize, which is like the first album. And I think it took like a year maybe or so, and like both Marcus and the rest of the guys were like, okay, we're not really like wanting the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
So he left. Nick, who's the old drummer, he was a standing drummer with me and with my old band, and he contacted me and was like, hey man, do you wanna try laying down some vocals on some new tracks? And I'm like, hell yeah, I love the new old stuff, so why not? So I joined back in, I think it was 2018, but we never announced it because I was doing like, we went to Japan, we went to Denmark, we went to Germany and did like just shows, just like try out like if we even liked each other.
Yeah.
And from that point on, we started writing Epicenter and then released it, toured it with, I think we did 2 or 3 tours, and then the other guys wanted to leave, which really fucking sucked for me. But there's absolutely no bad blood between us, and you know, we're still great friends. It's just that like they wanted to start living like a normal life, and
Okay.
you know, there's a lot of like money and energy you put in a band, and
Yeah.
when it comes to a certain point and you feel that you kind of get stuck, because metalcore is a really shitty genre to like start, like if you want to make money, for example.
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah.
Yeah, like you spend so much money into it and you don't really like get any back. Like, yeah, we got a record company and all of that, but at the end of the day, like it's all a big loan.
Yes, it is.
So I guess like, you know, I've had come to that part as well. Like in my older bands, like I don't want to do this if I don't get enough money, and da 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 da. It just like goes like that. And at this point in my life, I'm just like, I don't give a shit, because Aviana is a great brand and it's such a great team behind the band that I want to keep on working with. And like the response that the fans gave me when I wanted to continue the band was so overwhelming. So it's like, okay, cool. They're down with me continuing this, and you're down with the sound is going to slightly change. So today I'm releasing new music.
Yeah.
Which is fucking fun again.
Excellent. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I've been there with the band side of things. I used to be in one back in the early 2000s, and yeah, you invest so much into it, and it was a genre that potentially could have money in it at the time, much like metalcore kind of goes through, or every metal genre goes through it, where they kind of like, they're the sort of flavor of the month, if you will. But I was in that sort of new metal era, and when that band came to a foot, basically when we sort of decided to each go our own ways, it was because of life. It was like not so much wanting to live a normal life, but it was just sort of like, you know, I got family and kids. Other guys had a mortgage. Other guy was studying PhD, all that kind of stuff. And it just sort of like just took over that, and it just didn't become viable for them anymore. But I was in the sort of same boat as you. I wanted to kind of continue. I wanted to keep going. And I dotted around, hired gun for a few bands for a few years. And then I joined another band, did that for a couple of years. Then I moved away completely. I moved to America, in fact. And then, and then came back, and I'm doing things like this. I'm back on the sort of like journalistic side of things, and you know, still DJing where I can, doing live streams and all that stuff. So it's sort of, you know, I've been there when that band kind of like, when that family goes away, if you will, because it's like a bad breakup almost. Even though, like you said, there's no bad blood between you, and I still love the guys I was with. It was just, it feels like that kind of relationship breakup, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it fucking sucks because I miss them. Like even though they live in Gothenburg, I live in a town called Norrköping, which is pretty much closer to Stockholm.
Yeah.
So it's like on the other side of Sweden. But either way, like I miss them so fucking much because I was going down there as often as I could to just hang out,
Mm.
like not really care about music at like certain points. But yeah, it really sucks because you've had four people around you for like a
Yep.
couple of years. So yeah, it's really like a breakup.
Yeah,
It's,
no, it's crazy, isn't it? It's how that thing. No one prepares you for that.
no,
It's weird. Like through life, you can go through breakups with partners, girlfriends, boyfriend, whatever. But like that band thing, I've never had that like that feeling because you did. You spend a lot of time. You spend time in a van with them. You spend, that kind of just
you
that.
see like the worst parts of a
Yeah.
human being, like being on tour with them,
Uh-huh.
and if you like still enjoy their company after that, they're good friends.
Yeah,
Like they
exactly.
are like family. So
Exactly. And is that the sort of plan going forward? You're going to put together a bunch of musicians, and then hopefully take this out on the road? Because I mean, talking about the track Retaliation, we'll get to the sort of like band logistic part in a moment, but it's a much heavier, or it feels a lot heavier than the previous Aviana stuff.
yeah.
I mean, obviously, there's a lot of sort of like anger and frustration in the song itself and the lyrics. But what was that sort of intentional? Were you intending to go out and go, you know what, I'm going to take this name and I'm going to just sort of like just make some real brutal music?
Yeah. It's funny because I had a meeting with my manager and he was like, every single band nowadays goes like the soft route. Like you can look at our architects, like they're doing like I love their new stuff so much, but it's the soft route.
Yeah.
And like you can see pretty much every single band doing that now. And we're like, well, someone has to be heavy still. So we're like, let's just write a heavy fucking album and just go for it.
Nice.
So we're working our asses off to make like not only heavy stuff because I've seen so much comments on like this is like deathcore,
Mm.
and like I'm not trying to be deathcore, but if people like see it that way, then I'm fine with it. But like I'm still trying to like be in the metalcore genre.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just like I've been working a lot back and forth, just like trying to shape the songs in a way that can still work in the metalcore genre.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I say, it does. Like I say, it sounds a lot heavier, and you can go into that kind of deathcore side of things. But I feel, you know what route you want, and then music is all about perception. It's all about
Yeah.
the listeners' ears and what they feel about it, and you know what you're sort of writing, you know what you want to put out there, what you're feeling, your art, if you will, and yeah. So, are you working with like obviously you're working with musicians and stuff like that, but are you working like producers, or are you doing this all in yourself in like your own studio?
No, I'm doing like all the vocal stuff in my home studio, but the majority of the instrumentals are being pretty much created by two producers.
Okay.
I'm not going to say any names,
No, it's all right.
but I'm working with one of the guys. He contacted me way back, and he was like, "Hey man, if you're ever gonna like do something together," and I'm like, he sent me some demos, and I'm like, we can really work on this, and we started doing that, and from there we started working like pretty much tirelessly to create. I think we created like 3 songs in 3 months just to like kind of like get a grip on the song or like how we want the style to be. Um, and then I'm working with I can actually say his name, Ludwig Ottosson, who's doing all the mixing and mastering of the songs as well.
Yeah.
He's been really good with inputs and stuff like that. So
Nice.
um, but yeah, I'm working with mainly two people when it comes to music writing, but then I have like the whole team behind it as well that helps out and pretty much just says this sucks, this is cool, and
Nice.
redo this part pretty much.
Yeah, no, it's good to have people to bounce off, I find, because I've tried sort of solo writing stuff and all that kind of stuff, and I always feel like I don't mind it so much, but I prefer bouncing ideas off people in the room.
Yeah,
You know, um,
like I overanalyze stuff if I'm by myself, and I'm like, yeah, I'm never like I would never release music if I did it like completely by myself, because I would like pretty much because especially like when you're writing a song and you listen to it so many times over and over again, and after a while like you're tired of that song, you don't want to listen to it anymore.
yes.
So yeah, you need fresh ears now
Yeah,
and then.
exactly, exactly. And what are your sort of plans then going forward? Obviously, lockdown aside, I already mentioned a moment ago, I asked you a moment ago about like, are you going to get together a band of musicians and tour this? Obviously, touring is a plan. Do you have any kind of like, are you putting together a band right now, or are you just writing at the moment and recording?
I'm just writing. Like we were supposed to do a festival tour last summer, and at that point I had contacted several friends from other bands and just asked them, hey, do you guys want to do like standing spots?
Mm.
And I guess that's still the plan, just to have like friends help out because I do want to play live, like that's the main goal of all of this. And
Yeah,
but I'm not looking for new members, and I'm not like trying to fit someone there yet. I just want to make music now, release it, and actually put Aviana back on the map again.
cool. Cool. Now, that's a solid plan because obviously we don't know what's coming forward anyway. But I've noticed actually, like you're saying, getting friends to sort of stand in and stuff. I've noticed that in the sort of like gent metalcore sort of like scene, if you will, that there is a lot of like I guess stand-ins or friends helping out with bands and stuff. It's great to see that kind of interchange between
Yeah.
bands and things. You don't see it so much in other genres. I don't feel like back when I was in a band, getting a stand-in would mean having to rehearse with them for multiple, and like it was a different thing. But now I've seen these guys just sort of like drop in. It's like
They already know your songs, so
yeah,
because like because that's the best part, like the mentality between like people in this music industry, like people actually listen to each other's bands and
yeah,
actually enjoy the music themselves, because it's not like no one's trying to like, I don't know, like win a race in that kind of sense. Like no one's trying to be better than the other one. Like it's a super supportive scene, and that's like, I guess, the best way of just having a fun time.
yeah,
Like I'm like I just enjoy like meeting friends. Like I don't care if it's like a fan at a show or a musician, like because someone can always be really fucking helpful, and
yeah.
that's what's happening to me right now. Like I've been reaching out to friends that I've met and just seeing if they're like okay with listening to some ideas of mine.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I love that. I love scenes. I love when scenes are as like tight as that as well. And
Yeah,
you know, when you've got people like you say, it could be a fan, it could be another band member, but if everyone's helpful, and it's just great seeing that and like being sort of witness to that. Whereas I've been part of music industry stuff like that that's been on the unfavorable side, where you do get the kind of negativity and the sort of things like that, and never enjoyed it. But I always loved the local scenes. Like when I lived in the States, where I was in Tampa, has a great local scene. It was just like bands helping out other bands, selling tickets for shows, all that kind of stuff, and it was a great like community.
yeah.
um so what else, like obviously you've released this song Retaliation. What sort of other plans do you have, like music wise, like coming out? Have you got like a sort of like roadmap for the year, or is it sort of a couple of singles on an album, or is it just sort of like, just like you say, getting that, obviously you've already mentioned, getting that name back out there and you know getting people to listen?
As of right now, it's just like, yeah, create music and just release it. Like of course I want to write an album, and that's what we're aiming for, but at the moment right now we just want to pretty much showcase the new sound,
Yeah.
and actually like push this in a good way, that it doesn't look like I'm just trying to show my face in videos, like actually create some sort of an image,
Yeah.
because like it's super fucking awkward to be the only one in a music video. It looks like I fucking hated the idea first, but it
Yeah.
kind of worked out in Retaliation, and we have some ideas for like upcoming music videos that we can add to new songs. So yeah, no, we're just trying to release new music and just trying to, yeah, make people know that like we're back, or I am back.
Well, Retaliation was a hell of a way to say you're back. I'll give you that.
Yeah, thank you, man.
It's an absolute brutal tune, and as soon as I heard it, I was just like, "Fuck, this is good." And yeah, and then I went back and re-listened to a lot of the older stuff, but the new, like I say, that new track is absolutely brutal. I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give it some airtime on my show and stuff as well. So Yeah, you get some radio play over this way.
Yeah, thank you so much, man.
No worries. I've got a couple of questions left for you now, if that's all right, and I can let you get on with the rest of your evening and everything.
Okay,
But what I want to find out a bit more about yourself. But my main question on this one is what are your, if you could pick 3 albums that were the most pivotal albums in your life? So, kind of like, for instance, the one that kind of wanted to make you join a band, wanted to be in a band, and things like that. Just sort of, and if you can pinpoint those 3 albums.
Oh shit, I'm the worst at like album names. I actually got to check it out. I know that like the absolute first band that made me want to be a musician was the Finnish band Him.
Him, yep.
Yeah, I remember like the first time I heard them, I don't know, like Ville Valo, the vocalists,
Yeah.
his singing is out of this world. So I remember, like, was it like Dark Light? I think that album was named. Shit, what did I listen to? I listened to A Day to Remember at the same time as well.
Okay.
Is it like I'm the worst at like album names, show album. For Those Who Have Hearts,
Yeah.
that album, because that was like when I started to getting into like the screamo like music, when he actually started being aggressive about it. And oh fuck, I'm the worst at this. Like, I listen to pop music the most of the time, actually.
Okay.
So like,
Was there
but
anyone
yeah, like him. Oh, dude, any like Fall Out Boy record.
Fall Out Boy? Cool.
Yeah, because it was like a lot of like emo stuff back in the day for me. I did like black long hair, eyeshadow, and all of that. So I listened to every single, like My Chemical Romance and Panic at the, like all of that. But yeah, him was the band that made me like really want to start, because I remember like I had like a remote control, and I used that as microphone. I remember like I've seen like live clips with him when he smoked cigarettes on stage, so I took like a pencil between my fingers just to make it look like I was him. Like, I did like the whole mile because he was so cool to me. I think he's the reason why I started smoking cigarettes. So I quit now though, but
okay. That's good.
It looked so cool on him on stage. I was like, I need to do that as well.
Yeah,
and I was like fucking like 12.
He did have that image about him, and it was I remember that era. It kind of came after my sort of like, I'd say my era, if you will. It came after that, and it was there was a lot of, I mean, looking back on it now, it's like I look back on new metal now, and I'm like, there was some really good bands, but there was a lot of like not so good bands around. And it's the same with emo. I mean, at the time, because I was still in my kind of like new metal phase, that kind of like, and I wasn't really into that emo thing. But my kids and stuff now, like, they're loving it. It's like that's their retro tune, and that's their, if you want to feel old, like it's on a, like, there's some like tracks from that era that are on. There's a compilation album out here called Now That's What I Call Dad Rock.
Okay.
And they've added, like, normally you'd think things like, classic bands, Boston, Status Quo, Kansas, all the sort of like, typical driving tunes. On there now is Sum 41, Avril Lavigne. And there's a whole bunch of other bands from that time. And I'm like, shit, I'm that old. I mean, I am literally a dad, but it's like, I'm that old now. And those tunes are that old. So I now look back on them with a lot of fondness, because I'm like, you know what, at the time, I was too cool for school. Now, I'm just enjoying this music, especially when I DJ, because I DJ rock clubs and stuff. So, playing those tunes to people, you can see how happy it makes them.
It's nostalgic. Like, it's
exactly
like everyone gets fired up when they hear like Skater Boy or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly that. And it just brings back those memories from, which is absolutely great. But no, it's just feeling old now. But my last question for you, mate. What are your hobbies away from music? So when you haven't been creating stuff for Aviana or anything like that, what else do you do? What else sort of things keep you going?
It's photography and filmmaking all the way. I'm actually starting my own company in about a month.
Okay.
Because I got super tired of having like the normal 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
So I've been doing like freelance stuff for like 3-4 years, and I was like, hey, I can just try to live on this instead. So I'm doing it next month.
Nice.
So it's like my hobby becomes my work, which is like the best way, everyone says. I hope it is. Other than that, I enjoy gaming a lot. I play like Battleground. No, what's it called? Battlefield,
Yes.
Warzone, League of Legends. I started playing The Witcher again. Love that game so much.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm just like, I'm pretty much always working with the computer, even though it's like if it's music or photos or like just hanging out. And I actually started going to the gym again, which is nice. So
Cool.
I started getting that sit at home. I can't say it's fat because it's not fat, but I started getting like blobby. I don't know how to say it in English.
Relax.
Actually,
Relax.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really fucking relaxed.
Really fucking relaxed. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know exactly how that feels because we like after the first lockdown, I went back to work, and my job is very much like my day job. Is very much on my feet all day, and fuck, did I feel that? Like normally, I'm all right. I can get up and down the stairs, I'll be fine. Like end of the day, a little bit tired, but I'm on my feet all day. By like 2 hours into my shift, I'm absolutely knackered. My legs are just like, what the hell are you doing? So this time around, I've been like walking and doing all that kind of stuff to keep that from happening again, because it's just like I can't go back to work and have that happen.
Just
again.
keep that energy up.
Yeah, exactly. It's important. But yeah, that's it, man. I want to say thank you. I really appreciate your time. Good luck.
Thank you so much for having me, man.
Absolutely my pleasure. Like good luck with all the music. I look forward to hearing it as and when you release it. And yeah, hopefully once everything is I keep saying normal, but it's not going to be normal. But once you guys are available, touring again, and you end up in the UK, I hope to be there.
I'd love to have you, man.
I'm in and around London at the moment, so
you get that golden VIP ticket.
Oh yeah, I remember those. But yeah, no, definitely. I look forward to seeing that live, and like I said, I'll be giving you guys some spins on the radio. Hopefully, a few of the other DJs will as well. And yeah,
thank you so much, man.
Take it easy.
You too, man. Have a good night.
You too.
Perfect. Bye.
Bye.